So you're with Connectiv, hosts of Manifest, right?
Yes.
So I guess tell us first, I mean, in the industry, and I know you go to a lot of shows as research and things like that, right? So, I mean, tell us as you've been making your rounds around this year, kind of like what are you seeing as some of the big trends within our industry? What are some of the most interesting things that you've been seeing?
So I've been in this space now going on 14 years, running events in a variety of parts of the supply chain. I'm seeing across the board the rise in autonomy in this space too.
Yeah.
Autonomy and AI. I mean, AI is the buzzword this year too.
Everybody's got AI now. Yeah.
Everywhere you go now, it's we use AI. I think filtering through the noise a little bit is important to understand who is actually utilizing those capabilities and who is just using it for marketing.
Right.
But overall, the rise of autonomy over all facets of the supply chain, what I'm seeing, whether it be in the warehouse for autonomous forklifts, for drones, over the road as well. You're seeing kind of a bit of the rise and fall in the AV providers, last mile as well, even seeing, say, like Cruise on the West Coast and what they're doing with the robo-taxis. Seeing trends in autonomous shipping now too, autonomous rail. So autonomy to assist the human element, which is never going to go away.
Yeah.
So trying to find that cohabitation of the person and the robot really working together. Some of the trends that I'm seeing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's such a great point to point out that you said the human is never really going to go away. And I think that we've certainly gotten beyond, I think, that discussion of, jobs being taken away. And I was just talking to somebody earlier, we were saying around AI, like it seems like, that discussion is coming back that we were having a couple of years ago around robotics, right? But AI is really kind of, enabling people to do their job better, be more productive, do things faster than would have taken them a long time before. So it's really interesting to see all that pop up. And like you said, you got to kind of filter through some of the noise, because certainly, everybody's just kind of tacking AI like onto the end of something, or .ai or something like that. But it's really interesting to see some of those applications. So now Manifest, right? Let's talk a little bit about Manifest coming up in February, right? So I was at Manifest this year. I keep saying last year, even though it's at the beginning of the year, right? So really great show. But tell us a little bit about what people can expect coming up next year.
They can expect a lot. I mean, we've doubled our size from last year. We have the entirety of Caesars Forum, so looking at nearly 300 sponsors and partners participating with us. Everything from the autonomous vehicles to the robots to the infamous puppy lounges returning. In fact, your next guest on here is the sponsor of our puppy lounge.
Oh, okay.
We have an exciting performer that I can't name yet. To new activations in the show floor, which is really what I care a lot about too, is keeping my sponsors happy, making sure that the traffic is flowing through the hall, helping everyone to get that face time with their prospects and their partners and their customers. And the Super Bowl is happening 3 days after Manifest.
Right. It's like the same week, right?
Yeah, it's literally that Sunday.
Yeah.
So stay for the game.
It's going to be madness.
It's going to be crazy, but we have an amazing speaker lineup. I mean, we have the most C-suites we've ever seen, like on stage. Our plenary stage is all chief supply chain officers. It's a really exciting turn that we're getting, and this is really our growth year that it's really just taking off, and people know who we are. I mean, I'm excited to be here at CSCMP and happy that they invited us, and we're excited to work with them as well to complement each other and just bring the next evolution of logistics and end-to-end supply chain technology to the forefront at Manifest.
Yeah, absolutely. And the show was great this year, and definitely happy that we'll have a booth there as well, because this upcoming year we'll be doing podcasts there on the floor. So definitely excited for that, and definitely excited to see the expansion as well. I know that I heard that there's going to be a big focus on getting more shippers out too as well, which I think is a good thing, and kind of that all-encompassing in our space, from the shippers to the transportation companies, all those different things. I mean, I think it's going to be a great atmosphere and kind of that great ecosphere to create those relationships and collaboration overall. I'm curious, as we talk a lot about technology in the industry, right, in our space, but you've been to a lot of events. You've organized a lot of events. I'm curious the technology around events and trade shows. I mean, how has that evolved, and what's really cool that's happening to be able to foster like connections?
I think a few things I've noticed in there are, one, just the constant evolution of the networking app itself. Trying to really build that better mousetrap of enabling people to connect, while also protecting people's data too, because you do want to be mindful of not spamming your audience. You really want to make it a welcoming environment. With Manifest, we use our smart badges, so you can click a button on your badge to connect, instead of trying to awkwardly scan someone's badge. We're trying to facilitate that. The rise of hybrid events too, which I think is on a bit of a downturn now as well, being that the pandemic is, for all intents and purposes, over. But just more channels for people to connect before, during, and after the show. Making more interactive experiences on site, whether it be a podcast at a booth to live demos. And we have a number of sponsors, just calling one out, Phantom Auto, who are enabling the remote operation for forklifts. You've seen them. And they'll be running live demos where you'll be driving a forklift 500 miles away from their booth in Vegas. So embracing that technology to put someone in the seat, which it may not apply to every sponsor or technology is at the show, but just raising the bar for that immersive experience at Manifest. And that's really what you said before about that ecosphere. That's what we are. We are the ecosystem of logistics and supply chain technology. So the end-to-end piece, not just focusing on moving something from point A to point B, but what is taking this sector to the next generation? How are we moving it forward? And that's what we're embracing at Manifest, is the tech behind logistics, the newcomers, the startups, and the incumbents. How are they evolving as well to be a part of the future of logistics?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's such a great thing and such a great focus to have, because there are so many aspects now and there's so many different technologies, to have a place where they can come together and figure out how to collaborate together, and how they can collaborate together, and how they can figure out, how to work together and continue to evolve those things. I think is such a great thing. So really great that you guys are putting on that show, Manifest, and very excited to see it in the larger space and see what additionally is going on there. I'm curious, like, what's your favorite technology in the space?
That's a tough one because there's so many there. I mean, I really love the automation elements of it. The in the warehouse automation. Even going to other events in that space, 7, 8, 9 years ago, you hardly saw any of that. And now it's all over the place. And everyone's figuring out, especially the incumbents, playing a bit of catch up. So I love the automation because I look at it too, that it's not taking away jobs, but it's also opening up ones for other people, and opening up new career paths for folks too. So there's no one specific piece of technology, but I'm just looking at the sector as a whole and thinking that it's amazing how far it's come and where it's going to be in 10 years and 20 years from now. Yeah, it's pretty remarkable to see. I mean, I started going to trade shows in 2019, I think. ProMat was the first show, and just in that, a couple of years to see the technology just evolve so much is pretty remarkable, pretty incredible. So before we let you go here, because you're the trade show guy, number one tip for getting the most out of the trade show if you're an attendee. So for an attendee, it's really about maximizing your time. Finding the important sessions to go to, but making time to be in the hall. The sponsors are here at any event, and they're the ones keeping the lights on. They're here to meet you. As for the sponsors, it's just the opposite. I try to educate my sponsors that, at least in the case of Manifest, it's going beyond the booth. It's going to a session, interacting with the speakers, having those organic conversations that you have to think outside the booth a little bit and put yourself out there. So that's how you're going to get the most out of it, is really embracing the networking aspect of it and moving beyond just waiting for people to come to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's such a great tip. I mean, it's very important to be out there and, step outside your comfort zone a little bit, right? Sometimes to make those connections and really embrace. I mean, everybody is there. They want to connect. So if you take that first step and make that connection, then it's going to go a long way. And certainly you can come out with some great results for the attendees. So Dan, thank you so much for coming by the booth and talking to us a little bit. And if we don't see you before, we'll definitely see you in February at Manifest.
I'll see you. It's February 5th to the 7th. We'll see you there in Vegas, and bring some friends.
Definitely.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Good to see you. All right. So that was Dan.